Moved to Cape Town, bought a house, uh, big adjustment. My wife worked out the other day, we've moved to 11 houses in 12 years. So hopefully we don't have to move again anytime soon. I think my wife will divorce me if she has to move again. So yeah, Cape Town, love it. Set up an office there. I'm still maintaining our offices in Plet. We set up a new office in Joburg as well, where most of our property business runs out of. We've done a lot since then, since the end of last year. Our cherry farming business is doing extremely well. That business is running autonomously, and we've expanded quite a lot. We acquired another business called Detroit Air, which we acquired in the first quarter of 2026. That's based in Natal. It's a specialist manufacturer and wholesaler of industrial type compressor units, air compressors. I didn't know too much about the air compressor business, but it was a good business that we acquired from a good family. They built a very good business, a strong brand, in a competitive market position. So it fit our criteria for acquiring businesses, stable, long-term businesses, typically where the owners want to sell. They've been running it for a long time, a good brand, not the most complicated business to understand, and a business that we think will be around for the next 30 years. So that's kind of the criteria we look at. So we acquired the business, got a new CEO that forms part, a great guy called Chris Todd, and looking forward to seeing what that business can do. As part of that business, I went to China at the beginning of this year. Our products we've got various long-standing relationships in China with manufacturers there, and it was an absolute eye-opening experience. I've been to China when I did my MBA 12 years ago as part of the MBA trip, and just the change in China over the last 12 years is absolutely astounding. What was eye-opening to me is the information that we get about the East, specifically China. We get it through a westernized lens, and what we see about China on the news and what we hear is completely false and not correct. China is a country that is, yes, they have their problems as well, but they're doing extremely well. They are advanced today to the level where they are world leaders in anything they do. Their manufacturing capability has always been incredible, but what's incredible now is the fact that China is producing quality products that is the best quality in the world. I looked at it specifically. I went and visited the manufacturers of our machinery for the Detroit Air business. That was the first part of my trip. And I must just note that the hospitality and the professionalism and the sincerity that we were met with in China is second to none. I've never experienced such hospitality. Maybe in India, I experienced it many years ago on a personal trip with my family and some friends. But the professionalism, the level of professionalism, but also the sincerity, the kindness that the Chinese people and the business owners treated us with was incredible, and it instills a lot of faith in that country and in those businesses, but it also makes you realize that we've got a long way to go. The West can learn a lot from how the Chinese have built their economy and how they keep on improving. Our perception is that things out of China are not of the best of quality. I think this year has been a major turning point in South Africa, where we've seen the influx of Chinese cars and the quality of the cars that have come in. But seeing what's happening in China itself, I don't think we've seen anything yet. The average guy in South Africa has not seen anything yet. The Chinese are able to produce things of a higher quality than the West at a cheaper price, and the level of service you get is amazing. So the second part of my trip, a 2-week trip, was to explore from a property development point of view, to look at furnishings, furniture, finishes for houses, tiles, aluminium windows, so forth, appliances, all of these kinds of things. And I was blown away. the future is in China and everything is manufactured in China. If you think something is manufactured somewhere else in the world, 9 times out of 10 it's a lie. We met a few interesting guys, I don't want to say the companies' names, but let's say there's companies out there that say that their products are made in Germany or in Italy or in the US, and simply all they do is they know what the regulations say. Let's say there's a minimum regulation to being seen as made in a country. Usually it's just finishing the product or assembling the key components of the product. But all these guys are buying their things out of China, from the same factories that the Chinese are buying their things. So that was quite interesting. Another interesting thing is in China, when you walk into a showroom or a shop and they ask you where you're from, and they ask you, would you like export quality or local quality? Now, as a South African, if somebody asks me about export quality, that means it's the best. You know, our export fruit, our export this. That is the higher quality stuff. In China, export quality means lower quality. The people in China demand the best products, best quality products, and the Temu stuff gets sent our way. So that's quite an interesting observation. The Chinese people, you know, as a family unit, they are very centered around the family unit, very centered around their children. They care deeply in terms of the future of their children. So they don't work for themselves. They're not short-term orientated, they're longer-term orientated. So that's amazing to see. The people in China, one thing that I can see is their salaries have increased to where the average guy in China earns much more than the average guy in South Africa. It's not a sweatshop country, you know, anymore, or if that ever was the case. But what's very interesting is the fact that people are earning more, but those people are so effective that we can't compete with them. You know, even though if you take 5 South African guys and you pay them 10,000 Rand a month, one Chinese guy at 30,000 Rand a month can do what 5 guys do. I saw this all over the place. You know, I went to fast food shops, I went to things like KFC, places like that. You'll have a full KFC shop that's run by 2 people. You know, it's incredible, and the quality is great. So they're very competitive. You can't just look at salaries, you've got to look at what those people with those salaries can do. So they're still very competitive. They have mechanized their manufacturing tremendously. We went through factories where everything is pretty much mechanized. There's no managers sitting there shouting, making sure people do their work. Their working hours aren't crazy hours. I think they were working from 8 in the morning until 6 at night, but they have a 2-hour break in the day in a factory. Factory workers are paid the equivalent of 30,000 Rand a month, high salaries. But there's not a lot of factory workers needed in a factory. There's a lot of machinery. There's also, the interesting thing is they don't have a lot of middle management. They've got the owners of the businesses, the top executives, and then the workers. And middle management there's not a lot of it, because you don't have to look after the people. You don't have to check whether they're doing their jobs. They leave the people to get on with their jobs, which is great. So it cuts off that, you know, cost of a business. And then the interesting thing is the blue collar workers, the guys working on the machines, are earning more than the white collar workers. You'll have somebody that's got a master's degree in marketing or finance or something. And there's an oversupply of these people. You know, these are the second generation people that have gone to university, they've got educated, but there's so many of them, the service orientated or, you know, white collar workers, that their salaries are quite low. They earn less than a guy that works in a factory with his hands, that manufactures machines or assembles machines. But you know, we saw people there that were highly qualified people that were working with us, and they were spending their time with us, dedicated to entertain us, show us around, and they're spending 12, 14 hours a day with us for 5 days a week, and they were more than happy to do that. And it's young people, it's, you know, 28 to 40-year-old people, and they've got that mentality of wanting to work hard and wanting to, you know, do the best that they can. And it was incredible to see. You know, so China is really on the right path. As I've learned in business over the last few years, it's not about the assets, and it's not about anything except about the people in a business. And if you apply that logic to the people of a country, you know, China's got it right. They've managed to change the mentality of their people, or instill a sense of self-worth, a sense of looking to the future, a sense of self-sacrifice, a sense of hard work, honesty. I mean, there's no theft. You can leave your cell phone on a table in a KFC and come back 6 hours late. It'll either still be on the table, or the manager or the waiter will have it tucked away from you. You're not getting your stuff stolen. So that is incredible that has been instilled in the people. So makes you think about how we're going to fix South Africa and how we can improve. We've got massive room for improvement, so I'm excited about that. I think the younger generation is hungry for that. We just need the jobs. We need to stimulate private business. We need to stimulate opportunities for people to start businesses, because entrepreneurship is what's going to drive that. And you need the support. And in China, they support business 110%. So yeah, it was very interesting. And yeah, came back from China and kicked off the year with a fast pace. As I sit now, it's, we end of the first quarter of 2026. We've broken ground on our Plet Village project middle last year, and we've got phenomenal contractors here in Plet, and the buildings are coming out the ground, and we will be finished with that project in September. It's very interesting. Once we finish with that project, we're retaining a large majority or large percentage of the units, the apartments within the development. We've sold 120 units. We're keeping about 84 of the units as rental stock, and we're going to do a mix of long-term rentals and short-term rentals. And it's going to be interesting. There's a big demand in Plet, obviously from a tourism point of view. So we're gearing up the development to cater specifically to tourists and to holiday makers, but also to families who want to live there, who've bought with us. We're going to have a lovely lifestyle estate. So it's going to be a great development, and we're very excited. We started marketing at the end of last year, Castleton Villas, which is behind Plet Village on the hill, a little bit more upmarket. Townhouses / homes, 3 and 4 bedroom homes, row houses. That's done very well. We've reached our pre-sales targets, and we're about to break ground within the next month or 2 or 3 in that project. And that will be completed as well at the end of 2027. We were very fortunate. We managed to finally get our building plans approved for our 4 Shepstow project in Greenpoint in Cape Town. Took us 2 extra years. We've been involved with that project now for, I think about 8 years, from date of signing a deal to securing the land to where we are today. So don't tell me development is easy. 8 years of town planning and building plan approvals, total municipal processes. And we're breaking ground there as well now. So it's an incredible year for us in the property side. We're also breaking ground on our largest project, which will be, and the thing I think we're the most excited about, is called Clayville Security Village or Security Estate. And that is our model of, providing affordable accommodation to the masses. All the developments we do currently are lower, middle and high income developments, Nautilus Estates, Castleton Villas, Plet Village. We've got developments across the country, Cape Town, Plettenberg Bay, Joburg, and we're busy looking at things in Natal. We've got all the geographic areas covered, and in the residential side, we're in all the market segments. But that's a competitive thing to do. Our big focus and our big passion and our big, hairy, audacious goal is to look at solving the housing crisis in South Africa for the lowest LSM people, the entry-level people in South Africa. We believe that, and we've run the model and we've run the numbers, we believe we can provide dignified housing, rental housing, to people that currently live in townships and in shacks. And I've set a big target for my team. The target is we want to have at least 135,000 rooms that we own and rent out by 2036, so within 10 years' time. And what's interesting is we've already got most of that land secured. We've got a massive pipeline, and it will, really give us, obviously we're a capitalist company and we want to make money. We believe that we can provide a product there that the market will fill a massive need in the market. We see our customers as people living in shacks and in backyard rentals at the moment, informal housing. And we want to provide dignified, secured with security, in a security estate, with all the social amenities. We want to provide that to the people that currently don't have it, and the people that most need it in our country. So we're very excited about that. The first project will break ground at the middle of this year. So in a few months' time, we're busy finalizing the financing on that, and the team is ready to go. But coming with that, we've had to build the entire company to plan for that capacity. I've had a discussion with guys, and there's two types of property developers in South Africa. There's guys that do one or two projects, small guys that use external consultants and professional teams, and then there are the big guys. It's very hard to be in the middle. But to go from a small developer to a big developer, you really need to rethink the entire business model and the structure of the business. To do that, you need to have the correct people, because you as an owner, you realize you don't have enough time in the day to do everything. You can't run multiple projects and can't think long term and manage everything day to day if you're the guy, if you're the owner operator. So we've built an incredible team of people. We've got a CEO for the property business in Pretoria. We've got project managers, assistants, quantity surveyor, architects. We've got a full team, legal. So it's incredible. We've got a team of people that have got the experience, and most importantly have the right attitude and the culture in that business. So we're excited to see them. From our head office side, we are there to support them, to help with strategy, to help them evaluate new deals and so forth. And that's what we do. So on the property business, we're very excited with what the future holds. There's ancillary things that are coming out of that as well, or complementary businesses. For instance, another business which we're very excited about, which we're starting, is a private water and sewer utility business, whereby we will be providing the water and sewer services almost off-grid or differentiated from a municipality, as what municipalities do or sometimes not do so well at the moment in South Africa. And we will do it at a world-class level, with the best technology. It's a good business for us. It's a utility business similar to the guys that supply power, solar power or private power producers currently in South Africa. We're doing the same thing, but for water and sewer, which I think is a potentially even bigger demand. So we're doing that business, we're starting that business, we've partnered with the right people, so we're very excited about that. We've got other businesses which I can't really reveal yet that we're busy building. It's a curse and a blessing. I see too many opportunities around me, and I try and grab all of them. I've learned to only look at the ones that are worthwhile, that the juice must be worth the squeeze. But yeah, it's exciting times.